Pioneered by a gentleman named Ivan in the 1970s, a man whose last name is so far removed from my own language, I don't want to disrespect it by saying it. The Bulgarian method of training was incredibly unique for its time and still stands as such even to this day. In the world of training, Ivan was genuinely a visionary weightlifting coach who used this method to consistently produce Olympic and world championship medalists in the sport of weightlifting out of the rather economically poor country of Bulgaria. To be clear, weightlifting itself is the sport of lifting the most amount of weight in just two extremely technical movements, the snatch and the clean and jerk. There are a few core tenets of Ivan's training methodology. 1, high frequency. 2, high intensity, meaning heavy weights. 3, high technique. 4, low accessory work. And 5, high recovery. When we're talking about high frequency, we're talking about several training sessions a day and training typically 6 days per week. So the idea behind this is that if we regularly expose the body to your target sport, in this case weightlifting, you improve the skill of said sport. This often look like 2 to 3 heavy sessions a day, sometimes more, depending on the training phase. On the topic of intensity, each of these 2 to 3 or even more sessions a day included near or at maximal effort lifts, typically using 90 to 100% of your 1 rep max loads repeated multiple times daily. The idea behind this is twofold. First, since the goal in weightlifting itself is a single rep of a clean and jerk or a snatch with maximal capacity, regularly exposing the body to near or at maximal capacity loads improves the skill. Second, testing our max capacity frequently allows the athlete and the coach to monitor progress in almost real time and adjust future training accordingly. Sometimes a 7th day of training was included with lighter technique-focused work, but this was generally out of the ordinary as most of the time 1 full rest day was reserved for recovery only. Next, the Bulgarian system had a massive focus on technique. This is because at a certain point for anyone, the body won't notably put on more muscle or get stronger once you reach your upper limits. At the very least, there is a point where there is going to be a massive rate of diminishing returns as it pertains to strength or muscle gains. Being that the snatch and clean and jerk are massively technical movements, these two movements are an entire Olympic sport after all. Honing in on technique is a key variable for being able to move more weight. Just think about it. Even if one isn't getting stronger, if they improve their efficiency of the movement itself via improved technique, they will move more weight. It's as simple as that. So pairing proper technique with regular exposure to high loads is a potent mix to increase the weight on the bar by tackling things from both ends of the spectrum. Moving on, the Bulgarian system had a tremendously small focus on accessory work. Again, Ivan's Bulgarian system was based on extreme specificity of the sport, training almost entirely with just the 2 competition lifts. When accessories were used, they were sparing and mimicked the snatch and clean and jerk. So, for example, a lot of front squats if we were using accessory work, light pull work, or overhead pressing. This is similar to a football player or a basketball player only training on the field or the court respectively, with little to no time spent in the gym itself. You would train almost entirely how you compete. This is the kind of specificity that we're talking about with the Bulgarian system. Looking at recovery, it is completely obvious at this point just how demanding this training can be. And Ivan was not oblivious to that fact. When athletes weren't training, they did everything reasonably possible to maximize recovery itself. Ate well, avoided excess energy expenditure when they were outside of training, and prioritizing both a high quantity and a high quality of sleep, including regular naps. We know that progress itself comes from adequate training plus adequate recovery. If athletes aren't recovering just as intensely as they trained, The Bulgarian system and the athlete itself would fall apart rather quickly. And that's the hard and fast of it. The Bulgarian system itself could be considered a unicorn among training protocols, even to this day. Sure, the athletes on this protocol were on performance enhancing substances, but that would just be like any other athlete at that level. But they were also competing to lift their families out of poverty. Bulgaria in the 70s through the early 2000s was not an economically prosperous place to be for most people. And being successful in weightlifting was one of the very few ways a person could get his or her family an above average life. This mindset is incredibly hard, if not entirely impossible, to replicate without being in the same or similar circumstances as these athletes. That said, the Bulgarian system itself stands today as a legendary paradigm where relentless dedication and intense specificity forged champions who, in many ways, redefined the limits of human performance itself and mental grit. Its legacy, and Ivan's legacy and success, is a testament to the power of thinking outside the box, unwavering belief, and a truly relentless pursuit of greatness. This story can inspire and motivate even if you don't adhere to the Bulgarian program itself.